Well, people, I'm going to do this video. I'm going to do this video in two segments. I had taped something earlier, and I wanted to attach it to this Letitia James, the Attorney General of New York. You see, she's at it again. I said she's at it again. But this time, she just might have bit off more than she can chew. You see, when she went after Trump, he wasn't president at the time. But now he's president. And she's out there in the media the last 2 days saying that she's ready for any and anything that Trump might throw down. So one of Trump's lawyers went on the Benny Johnson show and gave her a piece of his mind. I will take away a second of it because there is a word in there I don't want to be on the media with, but he's saying, look, you get out here and try me, you're going to wish you hadn't. Then I'll add the other video because this all comes together. The reactions or the cooperation of those in relation to Donald Trump's presidency.
General, I dare you to try to continue your lawfare against President Trump in his second term, because listen here, sweetheart, we're not messing around this time, and we will put your fat ass against rights, and I promise you that. So think long and hard before you want to violate President Trump's constitutional rights or any other American's constitutional rights. It's not going to happen again. We've been Trump in his second term, because listen here, sweetheart, we're not messing around this time, and we will put your conspiracy against rights, and I promise you that. So think long and hard before you want to violate President Trump's constitutional rights or any other American's constitutional rights. It's not going to happen again.
Deep, huh? He's not taking no smack. He's not taking nothing off of her. Again, Trump is in office now. And I'm asking myself, don't she got something better else to do with her time? Just want to get you guys up on this here because, hey, the man not even in the White House. Let's go to this here.
Breaking news, the mayor just announced that the city will no longer issue vouchers to migrants to pay for food, ending a controversial program that had repeatedly come under attack by conservatives and others.
This pilot program in New York City, drenched in both humanity and controversy, distributed debit cards to migrant families staying in city-funded hotels and allowing them to buy their own food. Eyewitness News reporter Josh Einier following the breaking news for us. Josh.
Bill, it's a program that, as you say, generated plenty of controversy, but now its absence may raise even more questions. The so-called Immediate Response Cards pilot program was designed to help feed migrant families who found themselves in New York with no way to afford food. The one-year contract provided what the city described as culturally relevant food to 2,600 migrant families, allowing them to basically buy what they wanted. A family of four with two kids under 5 got about $350 per week to cover food in a program the city said would actually save taxpayers millions.
Well, we see movement. I say we see movement. And then no movement, but a barking saying, don't you come this way with some new policies. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Friendship Pearson. Welcome again to my channel. It is Friday. Happy Friday, the 8th of November. And yeah, it will be a November to remember because Trump did win. And it's been Trump, 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 Trump. Yeah, what a name. And now he gets to do part two. The benefit of the second administration is that people already know what's up. I said people already know what's up. And it ain't like you're going to go out with the peekaboo, because we had several months, if not years, of campaigning combined from Trump. So you already got an anticipation, a thought train of what he is capable of doing. But if you poke him, like when you poke a bear, you might get something a little bit more extreme. So it appears to me that people are either going to be complying or they're going to resist. I don't think there's any middle ground with Trump. But we're here. And why now? Why now this mayor of New York stopping the debit cards? Oh, he's giving an excuse or two. But why now? My question is Eric Adams thinking long term? And are the migrants bargaining chips saying, look, Trump, I'll comply. I didn't get it done through Joe. That is not enough money. And if I give you what you want, if I go ahead and appeal to you, can you help me with my charges? Wink and a smile. Look, I just had to put it out there. See, look, because back in the day, remember, and I did a report on it, back in the day, my man was on his way to Washington, D.C. to talk to Joe Biden. Remember that? And while he was on the plane, he got the 911 and the 411 about his main campaign fundraiser. Her house was being raided. Laptop, telephones, boom, boom, boom. And I'm sure he remembers all that. And you know, with politics, you got to think of it like, I got a long football game here, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. Maybe this is the third quarter for him. And maybe, just maybe, he's just thinking, you know what? Trump is in the White House. I saw him at the dinner in New York about, a month ago? And Kamala Harris wasn't there. Maybe this is a time to do some negotiation and some leverage, because I got a problem with all these charges coming my way. And maybe I can talk to him out in the public, so to speak, with some moves, and he'll get the hints. What y'all think? Check this out.
I've been very consistent about private conversations. I don't go into them, but I'm clear. I'm here to fight on behalf of the city. You can't hold your breath and wait 4 years before you start bringing back those resources to the city. We have a new president, and I'm going to collaborate with his administration to deal with some pressing issues that face in our city, particularly around funding. When you look at the billions of dollars we spent with the migrants and asylum seekers, we got very little help from the federal government, and I think it's imperative that we engage on the right foot to say New York needs infrastructure, affordability, and other big-ticket items.
Well, Mayor, speaking of the new president, do you think the Trump presidency will have an impact on your federal case? Are you hoping the charges will be dropped? We do know that he said that you were being unfairly targeted because of your criticism of the Biden administration's immigration policy. What are your thoughts on that? And have you spoken to Trump about this?
Great question. And because I only get a minute, I can't go any further, but great question by the reporter. Now, he did respond in such a way like he did a little bit earlier. He's not going to divulge nor deny. Hey, but what would you do? Look, let's face it. This Biden administration has put a lot of cities and towns and states in a precarious financial fix. It's called inflation. And these big cities like New York, oh yeah, they bulging. But you know, he got to take some of the blame because he did want a sanctuary city. He bit off way too more than he can chew. So what y'all think? Anybody out there from New York? You think he's doing the bargaining shit right about now? Hey, you know what? We got a new president, new sheriff in town. I got to get that 81-year-old guy off my back, Joe Biden. I got to get him off my back immediately. So let me go out here and cut some of these money from these migrants. And Trump will get the message. What do they call it? Quid pro quo? Or is this another move here? Save my neck. All politics is a revelation. Now, here we have a story here in relation to migrants' organizations react to Trump's victory.
Well, President-elect Trump has vowed to deport close to 11 million people estimated to be in this country illegally, but he hasn't said how he'll do it.
That has some immigrant advocacy groups along the Texas border concerned. Blake Brown was in South Texas and has the reaction.
Loopy officials gathered in San Juan to discuss Donald Trump's return to the White House and his far-reaching immigration crackdown efforts. President Tanya Chavez says the group is worried about the chances of deportations during a second Trump administration. She says migrants must know their rights to stay in the country.
They would only take as much power as we give them. And so if we arm ourselves with our rights and we become aware of what those are, then we'll be in a much better place to defend ourselves from any risks that may come.
She says these risks include measures like Operation Lone Star and Governor Greg Abbott's executive order that requires public hospitals to collect information from undocumented patients. Chavez.
Now, I did report on that before. I don't know if it's possible that Trump can do it, but he's going to lean on it. And maybe it's up to every state. Put in the comment section if you know better than me. But yeah, you go down there and you try to get some hospital, get some aid, they want to know, hey, how you going to pay for this thing? Are you on the government dole because you're a migrant, or are you going to pay for this yourself? Look, people have spoken. They put Trump in, and whatever Trump ran on, I believe he's going to try to fulfill it. He said he's going to put America first. That is, he's going to make America great again. And part of that is Americans come first. Now people, migrants can come out here and organize all they want, talking about power. First of all, let me tell y'all something. The other day I spent about 2 hours on the Alphabet Network's websites. And over 99% of the people, when it came down to immigration, they don't want it. They're like, you didn't come over here legally. You're mooching off of us. We don't have enough for ourselves. We went 3+ years with Biden. We're sick of it. We love you, but go back and come over the right way. This is what's going on in America. Tell me what you put in the comment section. And this is what I'm seeing. This is not a racial thing or a culture thing, hating on people's culture. People are just saying in general, they want immigration done the right way, the old way. That's what it's about. Now, let's go further because I want y'all to see something here. Trump-appointed judge kills Biden's policy for illegal migrant spouses. So if you married to somebody here and you're a migrant, we got judges, particularly those who are appointed by Trump. It's a new tune they singing. Check it out.
And now to the United States. A federal judge in Texas has ruled against President Joe Biden's program that seeks to give legal status to unauthorized immigrants who are spouses of American citizens. The program named Keeping Families Together was announced by the Biden administration in June when the president was still running for re-election. However, U.S. District Judge J. Campbell Barker put a hold on the program in August as it was challenged by Texas and 15 other states. Now, the same judge who was appointed by President-elect Donald Trump in his first term
has put the policy on hold. According to the program, undocumented migrants who are married to U.S. citizens and have lived in the country for 10 years or more are eligible for work permits and deportation protections. The policy also allows eligible migrant spouses to apply for a green card or permanent residency. And after 3 years, these spouses can apply for American citizenship. Now, American law requires illegal migrants to go back and return legally to get a green.
What do you think, people? Part of making America great. And what would you do if you was illegal? I mean, would you have just ignored the news? I think the majority of them know the news. And look, it's a risk all day. We already knew how Trump was. The rhetoric has been out there for ages, okay? And he has been like this for a long time. You're taking a risk by being here, thumping your nose at someone who said what they're gonna do. Now that he's in here, I am anticipating even before illegals, I expect him to go back. And I'm expecting Trump to send them back. Now, the argument is that what is about the cost? Some say it could be over $1 billion. I don't think Trump even cares about that. He's thinking about the cost benefit aspect. I'm thinking he can think of another way to get some of that money back. And look, when you got the richest man reportedly, Elon Musk, on your side, I don't think you worry about $1 billion, hint, hint. So, I know you can't give loans to the federal government, but hey, there's a way to get money to people. I mean, if anybody can do it, Elon can send $100 to everybody in their bank account and call it a day. We can make a comeback. Making excuses over $1 billion. America spends more than that on the war overseas in Israel, probably in 1 month. Okay? So that's not an argument to me to send them back. It does more damage to keep them here. It's too much money. It's too much money, and it's the wrong thing to do. And let's do what we're supposed to do to bring our country back. That's the bottom line. Now, let's move on to the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve chairman says, I'm not going nowhere. Historically, there was a Fed chairman. I think it was Volcker. Somebody back in the day didn't want to go. But what the president did, he stacked the House. He stacked people around the Federal Reserve chairman, and guess what? He wound up leaving. But listen to Jerome Powell's response. Like I said, this video is dedicated toward the responses of folks.
Well, you saw it here, folks. Shots fired at the FOMC yesterday, the Q&A session. And I have to say, Powell, when he strutted at the podium, he had that swagger. It was pointed to one person. That person wasn't in the room, but his shadow was. And finally, I was hoping that maybe it would turn out to be the most explosive question was the first, but it did come up. Take a listen.
Some of the president-elect's advisors have suggested that you should resign. If he asked you to leave, would you go?
No.
Can you follow up on, do you think that legally you're not required to leave?
No. Bam! Did I say shots fired? Powell almost daring President-elect Trump to come after him or any of the members of the Federal Reserve. Now, we know recently Trump has already said that he doesn't want to fire Jay Powell, but he does believe the executive branch should have a seat at the table when it comes to monetary policy. Now, of course, the media, still wiping the egg off.
Do you think we should have somebody at the table to be a part of the Federal Reserve? Because they're not a government entity. They're separate. But they got a lot of power. And this is not the first time that Trump is kind of like, hey, Do you think he wants control of it? I think there should always be checks and balances with money. That's what I believe. But Powell gave one-word answers. When people give one-word answers, historically in my book, they mean business. Man, I tell you, man, hey, we're going to see. We got what? November, December, January. We got 30, 60, 70 some days, whatever. Man, let's go into this. Gavin Newsom, they mentioned him on the 5. Today, they mentioned him. He's like, hey, I'm not having it. Changes you want to bring, I'm not having it. And there are other governors and mayors out here pushing back. Listen.
Full agenda in this state.
You know, people, I'm doing this last video here, this last segment, to show you how infested we are, how divided we are, how these people got in office and they're programmed, to me, with a one-world agenda. Bringing people over illegally is wrong. And that should be a city, county, state law. And every politician should sign it. Going forward, something like that should be put in place. What do you think? I know it's already a law. Well, maybe that's why we got Trump, to enforce what's already on the books. But maybe we got to go elementary and make them sign it. I mean, this is my governor here, talking all this smack here. This is my governor here in Illinois, Pritzker. One of the most wealthiest men in the United States. You got to come through me. All these one-worlders, man, these globalists. Yeah, it's sick. You break the law, then you stand there all high and mighty. I hope they all just tumble. I really do. Hope the Spirit of God just gets involved in all this. I think God is even impatient with this foolishness. I really do. This is why I believe God sent Moses and Aaron after Pharaoh. God got a tolerance level. Let my people go. You done broke the law, now you want to fight? You don't want to hear the will of the people? The will of the people is that Donald Trump is saying this illegal thing is wrong. And you still want to fight. People, I hope you see it for what it is. The resistance will be there. I'm glad they're showing it behind early. Like we didn't know, right? Stay vigilant, people. Stay vigilant. Stay hopeful. Stay prayerful. We're going to make a headway some way, somehow. I'm Fred Shot Pearson. Enjoy the video. Thumbs up. Let me know what you think about New York. Is Mr. Adams negotiating out in the public sector so he can get a little help in courts? And are these politicians wrong in your book? Maybe they didn't get the memo. Have a good evening.